Hi, travelers. I want to thank you guys for being patient over the past 3 days. Um, I am going to be taking my Master Gardener certification test. So once I pass it on November 3rd, right? So I hope it's at a decent hour and I don't miss any of the election. Um, so once I take that, I still have to complete my volunteer hours in order to get the full certification, but I will be taking the written portion. And then I can call myself a Texas Master Gardener, which is great. Also, for those of you who on Twitter and also on LinkedIn, you saw my little story about my plumbing issue that I've been dealing with. Uh, I don't even know what to say about that. So anyway, over the course of the past few days, even though I haven't been doing any work, I've had several people email me with questions about the election, and I think the one that was asked the most was what role did I see the Supreme Court, the SCOTUS, playing any role whatsoever in the outcome of the election? And so that is the question that I have posed to the cards. Let me show you here. The Today is October 27th, and it says, and you can read my writing, what role will the SCOTUS play in the election, if any? Okay. Um, and I kind of wanted to go over the justices because somebody on YouTube, I think in the last reading that I did, the third one, and the card, it ended with the, oh crap, I didn't write the card down. Let me just grab the book. I usually write them down here. Um, I want to say it was a son's card, and I want to say it was no, it wasn't a son's card. I'll see when I see the card, I'll know it. But the question, it was about the nine will have no counsel, and here it is. It was the 9 of stars. From the human herd, 9 will be set aside, denied judgment and counsel. And so somebody on YouTube posted up and asked me, did I think that was the Supreme Court? And I said no. That question was, would the Senate change hands? And it ended in that. And I said that card is going to represent the 9 seats that the Democrats are going to pick up this election. And the reason why I didn't see it and it didn't feel like a SCOTUS card was because of the last line, which it says that, well, I don't know, it very well could be. I suppose it could. Let me go back to it. From the human herd, 9 will be set aside, denied judgment and counsel. And so that denied judgment and counsel to me is what my guides were saying, was that those Republicans who lose their seats have no defense, you know, about why they're losing their seats. They're not going to be, they're not going to get a chance to state their case to their constituents and to the public. And so that's how that felt to me. So just so you know, if you're new to my style of reading, I don't read cards, right? I read the energy coming off of the cards, and that's a whole different ball game. And so I have to go with what it feels like and what my guides were telling me. So we will see if that card pops up. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you about those 9 justices. We have the 9 justices. They are Chief Justice Roberts, who was appointed by George Walker Bush. We have Neil Gorsuch, who was appointed by Trump. Clarence Thomas, who was appointed by George Herbert Walker Bush. Justice Alito, who was appointed by George Walker Bush. Justice Breyer, appointed by Clinton. And Kavanaugh, appointed by Trump. Those are all of the males on the court. And then we have the 3 females. So we have Sonia Sotomayor, who is an Obama appointee, as is Justice Kagan. And then we now have Amy Coney Barrett, who has been appointed by Trump. So that's the breakup. What is that? 6 men and 3 women. That's 9, right? All day long. Okay. So I've already done some meditation and shuffling on the question. And so I'm going to go ahead and put another rifle, and then we're going to pull the 4 cards to see what it says. And again, the question is, what role will the SCOTUS play in the election, if any? and we will see what the cards have to say. Okay? Here we go. Overall energy. We have the 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 of stars. I don't know if you can see that. Let me turn my light on. There's the 7 of stars. Let me go turn my overhead light on, okay? That way you can actually see the card. There's usually such a glare on them, it's hard to, So, there's the card. As you can see, it is the papal crown and an arm holding out a flower. So that's our overall energy. The next card, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's 8. We have the 8 of moons. And that's really interesting. You know, that baby calf, the first thing that came to mind was either someone who worships money or Wall Street or the market. I don't know how that's going to play out, but so we shall read the quatrain to see. The 8 of wands. So now we have 2 8s. 2 8s can usually mean obstacles, hassles, and delays. But also you and you will receive news that will affect the relationship. Okay, that's it. And then the last card is the Page of Suns, which is a wands card. And we see this figure walking along with his basket. Now, in traditional tarot cards, the 8 of wands always means fast movement, things moving at a fast pace. It is sometimes related to trips or news and messages from afar. It represents the energy of Mercury in Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the masses. It rules astrology, tarot, higher education, religion. Those people who are foreign to you, not necessarily that they are foreign in terms of coming from a foreign country, but people who are quote unquote different to you, different races, different religions, different belief systems. Okay, that's normally what that card means. So I find it to be quite interesting, and I'm having a bit of trouble understanding what this little cherub here is trying to say to me. He is standing stock still. And the 8, I know this is a suns, but these, and I guess these are supposed to represent suns, but to me they represent like a constellation or stars. I don't know if that's the G8. I don't know why that came up. So let's start out with the these are all in terms of the sequence of the numbers are kind of up there in this, you know, in the arcana, in the suit. Sevens typically speak to a moment of pause, a moment of reflection, sometimes a moment of perhaps doubt. I gave you the 8s. And 8s are typically good numbers in that they're positive numbers, in that they represent the idea that you've gotten so far, but there's a little bit more work to do, but you pretty much overcome all of the previous obstacles and things. And then we have this 11. Okay, so let me grab my book, and we will start off with the 7 of stars. So I have the stars, the moon, and 2 suns here. So these are swords, these are cups, the moon, and then the suns are the wands cards. Okay, I do can tell you that the election will be held on the full moon. of November. That'll be November 3rd. We'll have a full moon. And full moons are always like a D-Day. They hide things. We don't see as clearly by the light of the sun as we do the moon. So there can be shadows, there can be fears, there can be psychological things that come up. So we're never quite exactly sure if what we're seeing, because the moon can also represent illusions and fantasies. It can also be a psychic kind of phenomenon. And the reason why I bring that up, not simply because of the timing, but we also have a quarter moon here. I don't know if you can see it there. And I would take it that this is in the sign of Aquarius. I have not looked at my astrology software, so I don't quite know what the placements are today. Do know that the moon is the fastest moving body in the sky. Every 2.4 days it changes signs. Okay. So let's get to this Seven of Swords or stars. Well, 7 conspirators at the feast will shine against the 3 of iron from the ship. I don't know what that means, against the 3 of iron from the ship. I don't know if that's a maritime reference. Let me grab my phone and just see right quick. What is it? We'll put in, maritime and then 3 of iron. Let's see if we can pull up anything. Three of iron on the ship. Hold on. 3 of iron on the ship. I don't know if this is a maritime. I don't know. There's just a bunch of articles about the influence of iron in ship construction. So I'm not quite sure what that is saying to me. Against the 3 of iron from the ship. The story with this, it's based upon Chanson de Geste, who's a sorcerer, which is a story about a sorcerer named Maugui de Raymond, who cast the spell of sleep over the heroic forces of the great King Charlemagne in order to steal their swords. This act, of course, is intended to prevent battle from taking place, and it is the equivalent of disarming of an enemy force in modern warfare. So the key words are hope, new plans, and perseverance. So let's see what the so I'm not exactly sure how that's playing in, and I may have to pull another deck of cards to figure this out. This says, during the great regnant king's reign, the great brass gates will be opened by force. During the great regnant king's reign, the great brass gate will be opened by force. Doubt and fear of the outcome. That's what that says. The 8 of Sons. Peace will be spread over the peopled earth. There will be travel by sky, earth, sea, and wave. This is Mercury, the winged messenger. And this is Nostradamus' prediction in the centuries of the time of peace when people will travel through the air. The skies, aircraft and huge ships sail the ocean, and motorized vehicles spread across the earth. The imagery shows a winged angel with a trumpet with which he will announce these great events yet to be. So this is talking about something completely different. Um, when I say to you that I read energies, I can pose a question to the cards, but this spread is talking about something else. We see the page of suns here. The cards don't always answer. They never tell you what you want to know. They tell you what you need to know. The page. A simple soldier will attain an empire, and he will graduate from a short tunic to a long robe. A simple soldier will attain an empire. He will graduate from a short tunic to a long robe. Well, for some reason, Brett Kavanaugh comes to mind with this card. Now, we can look at the idea of the words or the term soldier, and this implies someone who carries arms or who carries weapons. But there are many ways to be a soldier. A soldier just simply means one who will stand and fight to defend whatever, right? You have the army of God. You have the soldiers of fortune. You have, there are many ways to be a soldier. That's what I'm trying to say. This, to me, but I don't understand what these two things are saying. The great brass gate is opened. What does the word regnant mean? We have to remember that this was definition of regnant. Currently having the greatest influence. Currently having the greatest influence. Currently having the greatest influence. The Eight of Moons. During the king's reign, the one who has the greatest influence, the great brass gates will be opened by force. This is the mingling of Saturn with Pisces. The urge to progress forward may be mitigated by a desire to cling to the past, to remain at home, and to nourish aspects of the self that feel hungry. The papal figure shown here is faced by a young bull, in this context perhaps a moon calf or a foolish person, which may offer an interruption to his progress. Thus he hesitates, undecided whether to go forward or to retreat. Doubt and fear of an outcome. There's this odd, it rather looks like a boot, this disembodied foot here that looks like a boot. I don't know if you can see that. But there's no foot in it, there's no leg in it. And I'm not exactly sure if that is, yes, I do look at my cards like this. I don't know if that's a rock or if it's an animal that's behind him. He's standing on a piece of wood, which can imply a certain, solidity. Looking back over this, when we go back to Nostradamus' time, the church ruled everything. They were pretty much the judge and jury. You wanted to get anything done, you had to go get permission from the church. And so there's this idea even though I don't see any figures here, What I'm feeling is that there is a body present in this spread. Okay, and when I say a body, a group of people, there is a body. I'm gonna pull one more card to see if it will give me any more information. Sometimes the cards just don't want to give you any information. Again, to me, this represents someone who is, I want to say, beholden. The whole idea of the stock market and finances, not necessarily the economy, but it's someone who's beholden to that. I don't know why that is. It's literally like the person is praying to or worshiping that calf. Normally, when I see horns, this always implies that there's some message coming forth. Why we don't have it now, we don't see the action of the message coming forth. I don't think it's time yet. I don't see any instruments of paper or pen to say that something's going to be written. I do feel this will be some kind of announcement. This definitely feels like Brett Kavanaugh to me. He goes from the tunic to the long robe. He's not an initiate. And what do pages do? Pages take messages. They send out messages, they take messages. They're also students. So whatever this thing is, I'm going to pull one more card. That's a very interesting, it's a unicorn stabbing a pope in the head or the neck. There in the corner, he has his hand on someone's head. See in the corner there? You can barely make out that figure. Hold on, right there. See it? Let's see what this is. Another stars card. So it's a swords. It will be a, I think that's the 4. Because I don't know my Roman numerals the way I should. Looking at these. Huh. Evil to he who opens the newly found tomb and does not immediately close it. The myth surrounding this card, a king lies wounded but unable to die. Literally held in a suspended state, he awaits the coming of the one who will set him free. This is about the sense of being banished or of having to leave old ways and enter into new. The key words are solitude, respite, exile, banishment, abandonment, and withdrawal. We see this figure leaving. This is like a puzzle. I don't know if this is telling me, Supreme Court justices never leave the bench. They're appointed for life. But I get the sense that there's something else happening here behind the scenes. Something that we don't know about. But I don't think that if we find out, we would be shocked, but it wouldn't be the kind of shock where we would be like, we'd be like, okay, well that's par for the course and it makes sense. I'm going to be right back. 1 second. This is not telling me that there's going to be, maybe this is a hint that maybe something might happen with the Supreme Court. And the motives might be for power and Money, not necessarily power and control, but power and money. Again, it's this calf here that keeps this phrase, evil to he who opens the tomb, and this one about the regnant king will open the brass gates. It's the word hasn't come down yet to do it. That's what this is saying to me. The person is waiting to spring into action. That's what it is. The soldier. Yes, the person is waiting to spring into action. Now, what this is talking about, I don't know. I do definitely feel that this is Brett Kavanaugh. I'm going to pull cards on this card. The Doctore, a learned person and someone who has the special skills and knowledge to help with the problem. The Morte, the cosmic scissors that come to cut a situation in such a way that it will never go back to the way that it was before. Either someone says something or they does something and they've crossed a Rubicon. And the lies. The falsità is just that. It is the obfuscation. It is lies. It is deception. It is trickery. The thing about the morte coming in, this says, if I'm to read it literally as they come out in the sentence, the doctor has the knowledge to come and cut this, to change this situation. But on the backside of that is lies. If the cards were like this, it would say that the doctor has the skill and the knowledge concerning these lies, but all of that comes to an end. But it is like this. It comes to cut the situation, to start afresh and anew. But there's something that's not right with whatever this situation is. Most definitely not. The only other thing that I could come up with that might make, in terms of just looking at these three cards, is maybe the doctor was helping someone, that person passed away, okay, or they died, or they transitioned, or they moved into another state. But it's all based on a lie, okay? It's based on a lie. Something is afoot. Most definitely, something is afoot. Falling on this card. The cards are being, sometimes they're like that, at least in my experience. They can be very enigmatic and sometimes very cryptic. And sometimes they make me work really, really hard trying to figure out, during the great regnant kings, the one who was in dominant control's reign, the great brass gate will be opened by force. I don't know what is going to be opened. I don't know what will be forced. But I think it's going to change everything. And I think it's going to be not necessarily a cover-up, but there are going to be lots of lies surrounding it. I'm not exactly sure if the cards are telling me that whatever this thing is, the news says it's not happened yet. Someone will be put into motion, into action. They're going to walk off with their little basket to take the news or take the message. I don't think this is anybody dying, literally dying. Although, sometimes you never know with the cards. There's four. I'm going to pull cards on this one. Evil to he who opens the tomb. That's just an odd card. Evil to he who opens the newly found tomb and does not immediately close it. The brass gate. Something is going to be opened, like loosed. Something is going to be opened, but it's going to be a bunch of lies surrounding it. And it's almost like the cards are warning that once this occurs, it's like not being able to put the genie back in the bottle. Does that make any sense? This is definitely Brett Kavanaugh. That's really what my guides keep telling me. So I don't know what role he has to play besides walking off with his little basket. But either he is going to be the messenger or he's going to be the one to make the moves, that soldier, to put this into play. The Casa. The Pensiero. And the Consolante Sorpresa. The Casa. That could even be the White House. The Pensiero is simply that. It is the idea of thinking about something or meditating on something, being in deep thought. But then we have here the Consolante Sorpresa. And this card is about luck, something happening to you that seems as if it just came out of the blue. Okay? What this has to do with this particular being in the right place at the not being in the right place at the right time. You see, look, reason why I'm saying this, because that could even be the Supreme Court. It looks like the front of the Supreme Court. Over this guy's head we have the scales of justice, Libra. I don't know if this is telling me that there's whatever this thing is, Justice Kavanaugh is the impetus, or he is the he's the key. He's the key to it all. He's the key. He's the reason why it keeps coming across as him. He is the last of the male justices to be put onto the court. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think Neil Gorsuch was the youngest one ever appointed. But if I'm not mistaken, he and Brett Kavanaugh are roughly around the same age, perhaps. To me, this speaks to the idea that he was the last one to come onto the court. He's the page. He goes from the tunic, even though he's wearing a robe, he's the baby. He's got a lot to learn, so to speak. He's the student. But he's going to be either the trigger or the impetus for whatever this thing is. So to the person who asked me about the Supreme Court, the cards are not necessarily saying that they're going to, well, they're not telling me what role they're going to be playing in this. But there's definitely something that's afoot. There's something that's up. You would think maybe that it might be the newest justice they put up, Amy Coney Barrett. But this is a distinctly masculine energy. It's not a feminine energy. It's distinctly masculine. It's kind of snarky as well. They haven't gotten the word yet to move forward. Okay? So, I really wish that the cards would be a bit more forthcoming in what they're saying. I do have to respect the cards and the way that they work. They don't always give me the information right then and there. Like I said, they don't tell you what you want to know. They tell you what you need to know. So I do feel that they brought this message forward. The thing is it's so shrouded in mystery as to exactly what it's referring to, and I do believe that's because it's something that we don't know about, right? A lot of people assume that tarot card readers can pinpoint in exactly what's going on. It's not always clear. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not always clear. And so a lot of times you have to simply wait to see and let the situation unfold naturally, on its own. Because I do feel we are under the Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is going to be coming out. If we look at this as Mercury the messenger, see those. There's 8 of them, not 9, there's 8. And those particular stars mean something, those constellations. I don't think it's the G8. Typically, justices don't have anything to do with that. Um, there's a clue contained in here, and I don't know what that means. I honestly, I don't know what that means. But they're trying to tell me something. And so I'm going to leave it at that. I will be revisiting the Trump Tower one that I did I don't know if that was the second reading I did. And we're going to revisit this one as well. I do like to sometimes come back and ask the question again to see if it can, give me a bit more information. But as I said, I do like to wait. We don't have very long to the election. What is it, a week now? So I'm going to try to come back and touch on that one and touch on that Trump Tower. Remember the burning tower? And touch on that one again. Out of the readings that I've done, and the very first, while I'm here, the very first one. And the question of the very first one I did was, hold on. Let me see if I can, let me look through there to make sure that this is the one, because when I did it, it so threw me off that I emailed it, I texted it over to Jessica Adams to say, oh my God, what is this? Because it just kind of threw me for a complete loop. I just want to make sure, what is this, the Five of Suns? It wasn't that one. The Five of Moons, and there were 2 fives, and 2 fives always speak to changes, but changes that are tense and full of tension, rife with really a lot of discordant energies. Hold on, the 5. It wasn't that one, and it wasn't that one. It may not have been the very first one that I did. It wasn't the very first one. I'll have to go back and scroll through my Twitter feed, I think, to find those. But it was done early back in August. And I'll try to bring that to you. I'll have to dig around and find the cards and bring that to you. The question is in here. I just don't remember which reading it was. I also did one on the vaccine. So that's what I have for you. I'll come back. So I don't think I have anything out of the ordinary to do tomorrow. And try to come back and we'll do another one. And maybe by then I will have that reading that I'm talking about, the ones where I sent to Jessica Adams with the question that was posed. I did post it to Twitter. I do remember that. It's quite interesting. And so that's what I have for you. I don't remember when. I do hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry that it couldn't be more clear. Do feel free to ask questions. You guys got intuition. What do you think? What do you feel? What do you believe? Post some questions, because this really helps me to get a better reading when you guys ask me questions. It can open up another avenue of information to come to me, because right now they're not telling me much of anything except something's afoot. We don't know what it is yet. The person activated, that's the word. Remember, I kept saying he hasn't been activated yet. That's what it's telling me. He has not been activated yet. Okay? I don't know what that means, but there it is. So, until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and namaste. Hang in there. 2020 is almost over. Woo.